start over here with Stephen Mills. Stephen, go ahead.
Brian, Caden obviously had to wait his opportunity to have the distinguished role that he's also taken full advantage of that opportunity. What have you seen from him this year in terms of growth and how he's been able to have the impact he's had?
Yeah, well, he's everybody has their own story. He has his own story, and I think it had its ups and downs along the way. But he's somebody that always has been an excellent football player. He's had a great feel for the game. He's got an excellent motor. He's made a lot of plays on special teams, and he's just relentless in his pursuit of the ball. And it was one of those years where he knew how much the team needed him, and so for the first half of the season, he's shown what he can do, and now he's somebody we're counting on during this run.
Right. How is Lorenzo looking practice last week? Expect that back in fitness?
Yep, expected him to play in the game. He's had a good week of practice, so just getting off the field today, but everything looks good. So excited to have him back.
Right behind him, Austin. Have you seen Hedrick come to the other side of whatever it is he was dealing with earlier in the year? It felt like he was in good spirits after Wisconsin, even though Penn State. Whatever it was, are you seeing signs that he's on the right track now?
Well, I think what you're mentioning is the consistency. I think we've all seen it in flash. And we've talked about this before of just every day, going to work and realizing that it's a long season and you got to bring it every day. And you don't just flash in this game. And especially when he was a defensive end, you go from defensive end to defensive tackle. Many people wouldn't recognize that as a big change, but it is. I mean, you're in there eating up blocks on a daily basis, and you can see how disruptive he can be when he's at his best. And so being consistent in all phases is what he's really working on. But he's a wonderful young man who, his smile lights up a room. And so, we just need him to continually grow and challenge himself and realize that, it's a game that, is difficult. What he's trying to do and what we're trying to do is just not normal. And you got to push yourself every day, and being uncomfortable is the only way to grow. But the talent's there, and he's an example of somebody like maybe Caden when he was at that age. He was going through those growing pains, but he is getting better. It's good to see him play well. Graded out against Wisconsin, so that was a step in the right direction. So he's got momentum. So here we go. We need him to really step up for us here down the stretch again.
Over here to Doug.
Ryan, you're obviously always going to do what's best for the team, but whenever you're considering changing playing time or maybe even a starting job with the guy, what are those discussions like with the position coach, and how difficult of a decision can that be? Yeah,
well, like you said, we got to do what's best for the team, and we go off of what we see. That's why we grade, and we try to make it that way, as black and white as possible. But it becomes sort of a body of work over time where you make these decisions, and I don't think that. I think in particular you're probably talking to right guard here, and we're still working through that. We'll get off the field and see how it went today, but I don't think it'll be a wholesale change. And then because part of it is what you see in practice, and now at that position it's going to be what do we see in the game, and how those guys do and perform in the game. That's really how it goes. It's the ultimate evaluator on Saturday. So their preparation leads them, and then their test is on Saturday. And we give them a grade, and it's not always that easy, but it is that simple.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the Penn State running game and Kayvon Allen's been a pretty productive back for the postseason now. What do you see out of that? What do you think is well?
Yeah, I think he's running as good as anybody in the country, and Singleton's a really good back as well. And both are breaking a lot of tackles, and so we got to do a good job of getting the ball. We got to swarm tackle. We got to get him down on the ground. We got to be violent and get to the ball. And we know that we got to like any good defense. We're built inside out. We got to stop the run first. We know that they're going to come in here and run the ball. I mean, heard the coach say that they got to come in here and run the ball. So it's a challenge to our defense, challenge to our defensive line, challenge to our linebackers, challenge to our entire defense. To make sure that that doesn't happen. But they're a very good team, and our guys know that. They know what they're up against, and so guys have been locked in this week and know what the challenge is. So now it's about who puts it on the field, and then the other part of it is on offense, we got to run the ball. We got to make sure we're moving the line of scrimmage, and backs are getting downhill, breaking tackles. everybody's involved in that.
Two more, but you're Bills.
Julian's progress has been probably as good as you could have imagined. What's the next step for him?
Well, like we've only played half the season here, so we got a lot of football ahead of us. Just continually, first things first, take care of the football, get us into the right plays, command the line of scrimmage, play well on third down, play well in the red zone, make routine plays routinely. We have our chance to take shots, we got to hit them, those types of things. But I mean, you're seeing it, and I think I've heard people say, well, they're waiting to see the entire playbook, and we're trying to, hey, listen, every play, we're trying to score touchdowns. We're not just running the ball and hoping to get 3 and 4 yards. I mean, we have opportunities. We can break some of these runs, and we can break tackles when we throw the football and those types of things. Feel free to do that. It's about efficiency. And I think that's something in the end that's going to be the difference maker is our fundamentals: tackling, blocking, taking care of the football, executing the plays, making guys miss, all those things. And so, we certainly, are going to have different things that we can do to attack teams, and we'll continually work on that. But at the end of the day, we're really driving efficiency right now, and we're challenging our guys. But it's the same thing for Julian, and he has to continue to do that. But the number one thing is win. That's the other thing. When we first started this thing, week 1 against Texas, it was just win the game. And then it was just win the first road game, and we have to make sure we're focused on that as well. Every week we have to win the game. That being said, we know we have to prepare ourselves for games like this is a matchup game, and we know what type of team Penn State is. We know we haven't had the season that they expected to have, but we know the challenge, and these are the games where we all got to play well. Our great players got to play well, and certainly the quarterback does.
Last question to Tim.
Ryan, running back wise, like you talked about, that would be the next step y'all take, offensively, like you just mentioned to Andy. If you see more clarification in that realm the first couple of days this week, I mean, the 2 freshmen coming on,
Yeah.
I know you're not reluctant to play them and stuff, but just what's your take on that a couple of days before the game?
I think they're all working at it. I think they are. I think that they have good attitudes. I think Locke is driving them. They're driving them as well, and I think that they're learning and they're growing. I think for the most part they're a young group that haven't played a lot of football yet. So, but they got a good look in their eye, and they come to work every day, and they're practicing hard, and they make mistakes, but then they flash, and so they just haven't played a whole bunch of football before. CJ's played the most, so we're just trying to get them as many reps as we can, and we practice hard, because we're trying to simulate what that's like in the game. They all have really high ceilings, I think, and bright futures, but they're just working at it, and we'll keep pushing through and try to figure out who gives us the best chance to win the game, and then looking at it from a wider lens of where we think it's going to go as the season goes on. We feel confident in all the guys in the game.
Is it tough to lean on a freshman, though? I mean, you have to be overly convinced, through your career and stuff. Has it been tough to kind of go that route finally?
I think we've seen it. The season's long, and high school players aren't used to this long of a season. So to expect them to carry the load for the entire season is probably a big ask. Not that they can't do it, but when we have the opportunity to spread it around and to build as we go, that's probably what we have to do. But the more they can handle it, the more we're going to put it on them. And here we are now. Now we're in the second half of the season, so it's time to go.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.